Sister Wives fans see Cristin Brown's husband, David's red flags. Sister Wives is exploring the early days of Cristin Brown Woolley and her current husband, David Woolley's relationship beginnings. Some people don't buy that Cristin's depiction of her glittery new relationship is what it seems. Furthermore, fans pick up on some red flags with Cristin and David during those early interviews. Cristin Brown Woolley and David Woolley are moving fast. Although Cristin Brown Woolley and David Woolley have already paraded their beautiful wedding at the end of Season 18, Sister Wives fans are getting the backstory in Season 19. Undoubtedly, the fast pace of Cristin and David was jarring to several of her children and most likely his as well. Likewise, Tony Padron thinks Cristin has a type when he compares David and Kody Brown. Undeniably, Cristin is gushing with excitement to introduce her soulmate, David, and she isn't seeing any red flags. But fans spot plenty while they are watching the beginning of their budding relationship. Fans see Cristin Brown's husband, David Woolley's red flags. Some people think Cristin Brown Woolley is wearing rose-colored glasses that are blinding her from possible pitfalls in her relationship. On Reddit, Sister Wives fans pick up on red flags with Cristin and her husband, David Woolley. First, a user says, "David red flag." They add, "David seems nice and all, but the way they met and how fast everything moved is just a massive red flag to me." David admits he knew who Cristin was and had even watched the show before. We've also had the admission from David's daughter that she mentioned to him about Cristin leaving Kody and that they'd be good together. Then by accident they match online. Then after a week, David is confessing his love to Cristin and calling her his unicorn. "Sorry, but it feels very contrived to me." Someone adds, "A dude telling me he loves me after a week would be the biggest red flag for me." Another user brings up a sensitive topic about David's first wife, saying, "Red flags on both sides. Cristin coming from a plural marriage with the last 10+ years being on TV and an acrimonious split. David jumping into a relationship with a reality TV star and filming the early stages of their relationship, knowing his wife killed herself and alleged he was abusive in her suicide note. Both of them being in their 50s and within weeks of knowing each other posting on social media about being soulmates. David curating his social media before the big announcement by Cristin on social media. I hope they're both happy, and they seem to be, but there are red flags emo all over it." Skewed timeline. Some people think that the expedited timeline is to cover up Cristin Brown Woolley and David Woolley's dating relationship going on sooner than they announced. One fan suggests that the timeline is skewed. There's been speculation that Cristin and David started dating much earlier than what they are publicly saying. If that's true, then they have to play up how certain they were early on to justify why they moved so quickly in order to be consistent with the modified timeline. About them being in their 50s, I think the older you get, generally, the more you know yourself and you know what you want. Relationships move faster for older people than they do when we're young. I mean, not let's get engaged after 3 months fast usually, but certainly not let's date for a few years first like in your 20s. However, other people discuss that they have been in relationships that started fast and lasted a long time. Not everyone is skeptical of Cristin and David's beginnings. Another person defends, "I don't find the timeline of their relationship is fishy at all. I met, dated, engaged, and married my husband in 7 months. I was single for 2 years. He just got out of a long-term relationship 1 month before we met. It has been 28 years already." I believe when she said something like, "When you know you know. He was the one," and vice versa with David. "She's my unicorn. I'm in my late 30s now, but my husband and I started living together about a month after we met. We celebrate 15 years of marriage in January. 17 years together. Everyone is different." Cristin Brown Woolley's family had ties. Some people think Cristin Brown Woolley and David Woolley already had family running in the same circles. In many ways, Cristin was happy that David was well aware of polygamy, so she didn't have to explain as much about her tricky plural past. Of course he knew who she was. He's a Woolley and she's an Allred. The AUB was founded by his family and then led by hers. He stayed in Salt Lake, so is likely in frequent contact with a lot of members and former members. It's not surprising at all that they'd match based on any of their similarities. **** Sister Wives *** fans have been enthralled by Cristin Brown's journey, particularly her newfound happiness with her husband, David Woolley. After years of living in a polygamous marriage with Kody Brown, Cristin's decision to leave and pursue a monogamous relationship has been celebrated by many viewers. However, not everyone is convinced that David is the perfect match for Cristin. Some fans have started to pick up on subtle hints, red flags, if you will, that have caused concern. To the casual observer, David seems like a dream come true, attentive, doting, and offering Cristin the stability she longed for. Their social media posts reflect an idyllic romance, complete with shared adventures, loving selfies, and heartfelt declarations of love. It's the fairy tale many hoped Cristin would eventually find. But reality TV fans are a sharp bunch, always on the lookout for cracks in the surface. They've lived through the Kody saga, where things appeared fine until they weren't, and they don't want Cristin to endure a similar fate. ####, the social media overload. One of the first red flags fans have pointed out is the sheer volume of social media posts featuring the couple. It's common for people in the honeymoon phase of a relationship to want to share their joy with the world. But to some, it feels like David is trying a bit too hard to project the image of the perfect partner. Every milestone, every dinner date, and every sweet message makes its way onto the internet, creating a sort of constant display of affection that some feel borders on performative. Fans on Reddit and Facebook have voiced concerns that this level of sharing might be indicative of something deeper. It feels like David is trying to convince us, and maybe himself, that everything is perfect, one fan commented. "I'm happy for Cristin, but all the lovey-dovey posts make me wonder if it's more about optics than real connection." This sentiment has been echoed by others who have lived through or seen similar situations in relationships where outward displays of affection masked inner turmoil. ###, the financial factor. David's profession as a construction executive has been a topic of interest for many ***, sister wives *** viewers. It's well known that Cristin struggled financially during her time with Kody, often lamenting the lack of support she received, both emotionally and monetarily. David, on the other hand, seems to provide a stark contrast with his stable career and apparent financial independence. But for some fans, this financial dynamic raises a question. Is Cristin jumping into a relationship too quickly, attracted by the stability she never had with Kody? David has a solid job, but that doesn't mean he's the right guy for Cristin, one fan wrote in an online discussion. "I just hope she's not seeing the financial security as the answer to all her problems. Money doesn't fix everything." Others pointed out that the couple's rapid progression from dating to engagement felt rushed, possibly driven by Cristin's desire to prove to herself and Kody that she could find happiness on her own terms. ###, the overpowering presence. While Kody's controlling nature was a major factor in Cristin's decision to leave, some fans worry that David may possess a more subtle form of control. David often takes the lead in their interactions, and though Cristin seems happy to follow, viewers have raised concerns that this dynamic could eventually become unhealthy. In several videos and posts, fans have noticed that David's voice tends to dominate conversations, sometimes speaking for Cristin or finishing her sentences. While this could simply be a sign of enthusiasm or excitement, some viewers interpret it as a sign that David might be unintentionally overshadowing Cristin, who fought so hard to reclaim her voice after years of being part of a plural marriage where her opinions were often dismissed. "I'm not saying David is like Kody," one concerned fan shared, "but I worry that Cristin has spent so long being part of someone else's story that she doesn't even realize when she's being sidelined. She deserves to be front and center in her own life now." These observations have led to ongoing discussions about whether Cristin is truly free from the controlling dynamics she left behind. ###, Cristin's need for validation. Cristin's journey out of polygamy was marked by a deep need for validation, something Kody rarely provided. Her relationship with David, by contrast, is filled with affirmations and words of love. However, some fans worry that Cristin's eagerness to be in a supportive, affirming relationship could blind her to potential issues. "She's been starving for love and attention for so long," one fan noted, that now that she's getting it, she might not notice if something is off. Sometimes, when we finally get what we've been craving, we overlook the warning signs.